we'll be back from the break, and of course it's exactly that is 9 minutes past the hour of 7 a.m. and of course we're still here driving your business. Today is the 24th that is of March, and it's a Friday, and of course we're heading straight into the weekend, and I know there are quite lots of prospects that are being put there to ensure that you execute what you ought to execute during, of course, that 2 days short of a short holiday in that aspect. But definitely you have to make sure that you get yourself really prepared in there, and also developing up the prospects to ensure that you execute the week very efficiently. And of course that in most cases is done on the Friday. You do the company assessments, and of course getting to find out how best can you go about, of course, the coming week. Well, on Smart Means Business, definitely that's what we're here for you to do, and of course to make sure that we give you this latest information and you get to use it to your business. But of course all this is powered by Zabu. Star 292 hash is the magic code in there, and of course you'll be availed through the Zabu platform. You'll be able to buy government bond securities, company securities at the same time, and of course with as little as 15,000 you get insurance. And the markets on Zabu and on Altex open at exactly that is 8:15 a.m. and the close at exactly that is 3:15 p.m. That is East African time, Monday to Friday, except on the weekends where they don't operate, and also on the public holidays, and of course where they don't really do operate. Altex securities and of course government bonds at the same time. Zabu, my money, my future. Do something new for yourself come the year 2023. There is no reason that's why you shouldn't really buy company stocks. Zabu, my money, my future. Do something new. Altex East Africa in there. Well, now getting straight into our very first update to start up the show here, and of course we shall be looking at the aspect of digital skills acquisition, and of course we're getting to realize that an enabling factor for the personnel to earn from the digital economy, and also looking at the ICT integration, a very key aspect when it comes to labor capacity enhancement. And of course at this very time, let's get into this very update and take a look in there, and of course I'll be returning back with quite some discussions regarding that.
And we largely focus on digital skilling, and our primary drive is to get as many young Ugandans have access to the right tools and skills that will make them proficient in the digital space. So that's really our primary drive. And coming together with FlyHub comes with an opportunity for us to play in the fintech space or in the financial space. FlyHub is part of a big entity called Smb Holding, and that gives us an opportunity to directly work with partners that have a desire to digitize their either financial systems or solutions, but also beyond the financials to the other ecosystem, because the way FlyHub is structured, it is not just financial. It's not just looking at the banks, it's also looking at the other opportunities, either servicing government or NGO or development work generally. Now, because we're a talent partner, our work is to then equip the talent that is appropriate for their demand. But also we're looking at opportunities of doing work together, and that means we will structure projects that they have that will resource with talent. Yeah. I think it's the fastest growing sector. So if we look at the people that we have trained, I would say close to 60% have been hired by the fintech ecosystem. And because there's opportunity in that space and it's growing rather very fast. So I think with the more level of integration and more players willing to be part of this whole ecosystem, we're going to see more growth in this space. I also say the few things that have come into what you say like the catalyst. So the separation of MTN and Momo and Airtel Money, all these are some of the triggers that have made the fintech ecosystem grow and are going to continue growing for a very long time. I think the future is in digital. The future is digital. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You'll either be working with software or you'll be building software. We're already using software anyway. The next bit is, are you just going to be a net consumer, or you're going to play a part in contributing to earning money from the digital economy? And so for me, irrespective of what you do, there's an opportunity for you to use technology to enhance your resource capacity, your income capacity in whatever you do. So I'm looking at a bright future, if you ask me. But we need to invest significantly to make technology work in this ecosystem.
Well, a very interesting question in there. Are you just going to be an onlooker, or you're going to participate into adding into the digital economy? Well, I mean, the digital is where to go. We either use softwares, you either develop the software or you use the software. One of the two ways, probably you on that participation. You know, you participate on either sides, but there is something that you can go beyond just using the software, and you also take a part into developing the softwares. Well, because at the end of the day, you'll be in position to add into the digital economy, because it's where we go. You know, software developers, to maintain the softwares, upgrading softwares and all that, and it's quite a very interesting business in that line. Well, away from that, now let's get into our daily and of course press briefing. Take a look at what's really happening, that is in the world of print media, and of course in so many aspects. It could be social, economic, and so many in that perspective. Now starting with a new vision, and of course getting to look into here, we see that arrest corrupt PDM officials. Of course, says President JORAM 70 regarding that. It's an order from the president. Well, we shall be looking into that. But of course, still taking a look in here, we see that government lauded over Nile English course book. As we see, the Education Ministry in partnership, that is with the Vision Group, has launched the revised Nile English course book. Now, that is for primary schools. Well, of course, if you want to if you're really interested to find out more about this very matter, you can really check it out regarding that. And of course, still looking in here, we see that IGAD, that is the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, of course, commends JORAM 70 on regional peace. Well, regional peace, a very key aspect when it comes to economic growth and development. So the IGAD in there advising 70 regarding that very matter. And of course, now still looking at some other interesting aspect in here. Of course, we can't ignore the fact that we're looking at the Karuma supplies. That is about 40 megawatts to the national grid. Karuma supplies 40 megawatts to the national grid. Well, that's additional power supply. Means we shall be in position to really have enough, most especially for the manufacturing industry. That is to produce enough, and capacity. The capacity of the machines is enhanced in that perspective. Okay. Now, still looking at it in here, we see Uganda, of course, commit to revive trade ties. Well, you also find out that in the new vision, you're really interested in that. And now coming in here, taking a look at President JORAM 70 orders arrest of officials, that is over the parish development motor funds. And of course, looking in here, the President JORAM 70 has ordered that is the arrest of all government officials who are mismanaging the parish development motor funds. Well, that is something for you to take out there. And of course, this is something that has been on the talk of every Ugandan ever since its implementation. And now the president coming up talking about the corruption. Well, it's quite something very key to look into. Okay, now still in here, we take a look at Parliament budget slashed. And of course, Speaker summons Matia Kasaija regarding that. Now the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, has summoned, that is the Finance Minister Matia Kasaija, for a meeting that is in our office to explain the circumstances under which Parliament's budget was cut. Of course, the Minister of Finance has quite lots to explain to the Speaker, and of course we shall be seeing what's really coming out from that very meeting after that. Now, still in here, we take a look at experts proposing measures to contain the public debt. And of course, recently we had a summit regarding public financing strategy, and definitely looking at debt, loans, grants. We reviewed them as options that are not, well, they're interesting options, but they're not sufficient. They're not reliable in a way. But of course, experts in here are still proposing measures to contain the public debt. That is in here. That is in the new vision. Okay. Now still in here, we'll take a look at district councils won over. That is RDCs. Yeah, you could check that out, and definitely you would be getting the appropriate information regarding that matter. It's exactly 7:19, and of course, very shortly I'll be joined with JORAM, and of course to find out the traffic atmosphere. And this time around, we are looking at the Kirat Road junction, taking a look at what is really transpiring in there. I shall be joined with JORAM, of course, later on in a few minutes from now. Still, okay, looking in here, of course, quite lots of stories, and of course, taking a look at Museveni urging Muslim leaders, that is to fight corruption. President Yoweri Museveni has congratulated Muslims in the country, that is upon getting a new regional chairperson or chairperson for the new, that is Uganda Muslim Spring Council. That is Professor Dr. Muhammad Lubega Chisambira. In that way, well, that is something very interesting, and of course with the congratulation messaging that the president urges to fight corruption in leaders, of course, just like he ordered the arrest of the corrupt PDM officials in that aspect. Well, now away from the New Vision, now let me take a look at the Daily Monitor and take a look at what's really happening. And of course, here on the top page, we take a look at 4 guards killed in raids on schools. Well, that's quite very sad in a way. And of course, taking a look still as Museveni tips investors on 7 clusters. That is of value addition. That is something you can check out for any person that is interested to find out. Okay, and now still taking a look in here in the Daily Monitor, we see that Karamoja School applied for iron sheets and they never got the iron sheets. And definitely the saga that has been going on, the iron sheets that were meant for the people in that region of Karamoja. And we take a look at a school that applied for the iron sheets and wasn't in position to get that. Now, this very time, let's get you with JORAM Paul SSONKO at Kirat Road Junction, and of course, getting to find out the traffic atmosphere, what is happening around there. A very good morning, JORAM.
A very good morning, and many thanks for joining us. Thank you very much, Andrew BARIGYE, for taking us up this early morning. And of course, you're watching Smart Means Business. Where I'm at is at the old Kira Road. So pretty much by the look of things here, right behind me is a lane that is coming in from Bokoto, coming in from Naguru. It does seem to be one
connection in there. We just lost JORAM in there, but definitely we hope we shall be able to catch up in the very shortest time possible. Taking a look at what's happening, that is at the Kirat Road Junction. And of course, it's always a little bit mild congested, you know, according to the experience, according to the times of being there, reporting that very aspect. And you find that in most cases, the people that are coming in, that is from the different, for example, those that are coming in from Kampala and they're heading to Kirat, it's quite always a free lane in most cases. But that Bukoto, the Bukoto Ntinda Road is always quite very congested in most cases, because majority of the vehicles and of course the residents in those areas, quite many, and you know, it being a residential area and at the same time a business area, it's quite a little bit complex in terms of accommodation. And when it comes to that, because there are quite lots of many people that stay really there, so that causes a heavy congestion. Business people going in there to execute the businesses at the same time. Other people using the public vehicles, you know, some people are heading there to work, some people are coming from those areas, coming to town. So you find that it's quite a little bit congested.
Most of them around use this route if they are going to the city. So it is more of a unifying situation.
Also connects in straight to the local bypass.
By the simple observation is it's a lane that is very busy than the rest of the others. But also, if I'm to look at the simple observation as well, by the look of things, we do have a traffic officer who's already in the same place. And it's actually, ideally, if you've been observing the traffic atmosphere within Kampala, this looks like the most disciplined kind of road users. For people who normally come from Bukoto, Nagulu, Nalia, people who actually use this same path. Nigeria, of course, everyone who actually uses this same route. Most of them are really disciplined when it comes to using the route. And of course, even with the fact that we have a traffic officer, the traffic lights that are actually working so ably well, it goes back to how the vehicle owners who come from this area are more disciplined than the rest of the others. Even when there is no traffic officer, by the way, with the kind of the observation that you would definitely be able to see. But of course, we also have some vehicles that are actually leaving the other side of the Logogo bypass, heading to leaving the other side of the Kira Road, using the Logogo bypass to move further and beyond. But by the look of things, the traffic atmosphere now, the only busy route, trust me, is one that is actually leaving the Naguru lane and Tinda. It's the road users who are actually leaving there and heading to town that are actually facing it a little bit more. Of course, time is has always been money, and you get to realize that the more you wake up earlier for a business day, it is better for you to beat these particular circumstances where you will be left behind if at all you find a busy day. And by the look of things, yes, you need to realize that for any other person who is using the road early this morning, border borders have always been there as well as a means of transport that can easily take you to the city quite much. But stretching directly, if you've left this particular route of the old Kira Road and you're moving into, for example, Jinja Road in Kampala, around the former Electoral Commission offices, that is route to Access Road. That is where now the most traffic is at the moment. And of course, again, stretching to Wandegea, the Wandegea route is a little bit more busy for now, because every time the traffic officer lets these vehicles move, you get to realize that at a time there are people who actually, more vehicles that are waiting on the other joining places to the city. So because here there are 3 lanes, and of course there are two lanes for each side, you realize it's very easier for them, once the traffic lights have let them to go, it's very easier for them to actually move at a terrible speed, or you could actually say at a moderate speed, to reach the other route in town. But of course, once they reach the other traffic lights, again, you will experience more traffic jam, because of the fact that the other way, there are lots of other people, lots of other vehicles coming in from other directions that are actually heading to town. And of course, that is why in most cases you'll find out, even at the traffic lights, there are traffic officers that are deployed early in the morning. And of course, this is how we definitely kickstart off your morning at around 20 minutes past 7 o'clock. Why? Is because we want to give you a glimpse of how the traffic is flowing and how the traffic atmosphere and the environment within Kampala leading to the CBD, of course, these routes that lead you to the CBD, how the atmosphere is flowing, so that you can easily make a way for yourself. And of course, now those vehicles are the ones that are actually leaving Kampala and heading out of the city, either going to Bukoto or going to Ntinda, as well as Naguru, because those are the nearest areas around this particular place here of the Kira Road station, and of course around the old Kira Road traffic lights. And of course, at this moment, I'm taking you back to studio with Andrew Barigye to take you furthermore with details regarding business this morning, as he has more details coming in from East Africa and of course the international updates. For now, it's a goodbye from me and a good morning as well. I'll be joining Andrew Barigye at the hour of 8 to discuss more business matters. Back to you.
Well, thank you very much, Joram, of course, for those updates regarding for the people that are going to use, in case you're coming, you're resident in amongst those areas and you connect to that very junction. I guess you can now get to know, to realize what is the best route for you and what is the best time for you to travel to get to your respective workplace and execute what you ought to execute. Well, at exactly 29 past 7, let's get into a short commercial break, and of course, we shall be returning with more East African news, what's happening around East Africa, and of course, top up the hour. That is with the business in the international aspect. Stick around. Very good morning.